And we are live. What's up, folks? We are so sorry for an hour and 6 minute delay. We were working with some crazy technical issues I've never seen before. So, yeah, apologies about that if any of you have popped out, which it looks like a lot of people have. That's understandable, but we're going to go ahead and get started and start celebrating the new year. So, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Introduce yourselves and let us know how your day's been.
Well, so far New Year's has been going pretty good. My name's Lee. I have the Lights Camera Rant podcast, and hello from the new year. It's pretty good so far.
Yeah, it's New Year's Day for you.
Yep.
And hey everyone, my name is Skirgle. My page and my channel is Skirgle Games. It's been good so far. I'm on the East Coast. We have a couple more hours until New Year's, and yeah, just dealing with difficulties of technical issues. It's great.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna blame Kurgle on this one for the NVIDIA installer stuff. We were trying to do something different to work up my background since I've got things moved around. But next week it will look entirely different, so I'm not so concerned about the background. But it is what it is for tonight, and we're gonna go on with the special and have a good time. So, did anybody bring any brews or anything?
We have this wonderful seltzer here. No alcohol though. But
okay, all right,
no.
True North.
I've this rare delicacy called Coke. Unfortunately, I'm still recovering from last night.
That's hilarious because, yeah, that's all I've got next to me is some Mountain Dew and an energy drink to get through this. So
there you go.
We're on a wild stream.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, technical difficulties aside, we've had a little bit of news. I mean, a lot's happened here recently. Obviously, we've had, all the stuff with the Game Awards. I've covered that so much. We live streamed that whole thing, and there was some... My auxiliary cord popped out. It's also never happened. I was trying to work on this key light here at the same time, but yeah. So a lot's happened here recently with gaming, and it's been kind of a crazy year. I have touted it as being potentially one of the biggest years in gaming ever. I think that 1998 and 2003 were probably the other big years, but I think it's fair to say that this could have been like the biggest year in gaming, period. I mean, it's been insane. Just looking at, even just the surface level stuff, there's stuff in between, man, that they just got missed. It's so good. And I got a video coming out talking about like 5 games that, were sort of overlooked, but were top tier games. And yeah, I mean, what's everybody been playing this year? Like, what's your thoughts on, releases this year and the stuff that we've seen?
I would agree with you, man. This year's been like up and down with gaming, and I just makes me wonder if a lot of these games have come out this year is obviously because everything got delayed with COVID and all those issues, that this is just massive like dump year. This is like a lot of those games are all delayed. We've just gotten one massive hit of a year.
Agreed. Yeah, there's a lot of things that came out this year that are huge. Unfortunately, I didn't get to play a lot of them. Baldur's Gate 3 has been my go-to for the last 2 months. Absolutely an insane game that I never thought I would get into turn-based games, but hey, there's a first time for everything, and it's just incredible.
And there's a reason why it won Game of the Year.
Well, 100%. Yeah. Well, we can get to that. Like, Game Awards just was insane also.
Yeah, Game Awards was absolutely crazy. I mean, so it's weird because the Game Awards, I've got a lot of problems with it, right? Like, so throughout the years, Jeff Keighley has really filled it with a lot of ads, which we did have a lot of again this year. I think probably not as many as we have in the past. I mean, thinking back to I think it was 2021 when he did the Game Awards. It was so full of ads that it was almost intolerable to watch. Like I could not handle it. But it was we did almost a 4-hour stream for the whole show. We ended 5 minutes after it was done, and it was a long event. So that's certainly one thing. But yeah, I mean, like talking about some of the other games. Obviously, you've had a lot of other pop culture stuff happen this year, but with games, I was thinking about like obviously, Tears of the Kingdom was up there for Nintendo, but Nintendo also had a lot of other kind of, middle grade or even high grade games. I would say like Super Mario RPG Remake is a pretty big deal to me. I think that, we never had really an RPG like that for Mario again. We've had Paper Mario, but it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to play about an hour of that. Yeah, I played that on stream for a little bit, and I
Massive
planned
session.
massive session. I plan to go through that, but I mean, if you haven't played that, it's a phenomenal game. It's the type of remake where it's, exactly a remake. Like, there's not much change. I think the only addition.
They just rebuilt it.
I was just gonna say, like, that's another thing that I'm very 50-50 on this year is remakes and remasters have been swarming the gaming space, and it's really hard to appreciate it when these studios have these massive franchises, and instead of building new IPs and building upon the existing foundations, they start doing remakes and remasters, which yes, they have the difficulty of their own, but is it just an easy way to like get fans to spend money for nostalgia, right? Like, and it's good. Like, I'm happy when I see a cool game gets a remaster, but at the same time, I'm thinking like they probably could have pushed these resources into making a new IP, a more creative thing, but that's just my gripe with the gaming space nowadays. But then again, we can get to that when we talk about Game Awards. That's a massive subject.
But no, dude, you're right. I was just gonna say, dude, you're right. It's almost the same thing that like movies are doing. They're only trusting IPs, and they're only pumping out sequels or prequels. And like, what was the Last of Us 2 remaster?
Yeah, it hasn't been 2 years or what? Like, it just
released. Not that old. It just came out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a weird one because with the first game, we got a remaster. So, I mean, it came out on PS3. We got a remaster for PS4. Then we got a remake for PS5 for the same game. And the remake is not like it's almost like it's just another remaster. It doesn't feel like it's a remake to me.
No.
Yeah.
It's a cash grab. Now, I'm all for the accessibility with like new systems. Sure, somebody might not have a PS3 to play the original release, which the PS5 is not backwards compatible for, but it's on PS4 and it's backwards compatible there. So I think if it's backwards compatible and we're able to play it, why do we need it other than cash grab?
I mean, but also like you got to take in consideration the fact that especially in the last, I would say 10 years, gaming really took off. And a lot of people don't know this fact, but gaming is bigger than music and movie industry together combined, right? And not just movies, like TV show, like television in general, right? If you take all of television, all of music, it is not as big as gaming. So what's happening now is you see the shift of companies not being passionate about video games like they used to. You can feel that in certain games, in certain older games that are getting remasters and remakes now. There's a special kind of magic to them, right? They're not going to risk making a new IP, right? Because a lot of the new ones actually failed in the recent couple of years. They're gonna go for the low hanging fruit. They're gonna go for something that they know, hey, if we invest $5 billion into this, if we get $7 billion out, why don't we just rinse and repeat and just get our money's worth, you know?
Yeah. How's the audience? So just keep pumping out the same thing.
Yep. And
Mm.
we're
I mean,
partially to blame as well.
we
Yeah,
are to
I know.
blame. I mean, people keep buying it. So, I mean,
Yep.
for instance, I was interested in getting, there was something called the Firefly Edition for the Last of Us remake that
Yeah.
dropped just for the PlayStation Store. So you can only get it on there. It sold out in like 5 minutes. Inaccessible. Immediately on eBay, it's triple priced. And it's just the game with an art book and a cool little, cardboard box.
That's it. That's all it is. So we
That-
complain
that-
about it, but we help to it.
we do. I mean, everything sells out. Everything ends up going for, prices on eBay, and people apparently want it. But at the same time, it seems like anybody in the sort of gaming space, content or industry period, are complaining about it. But at the same time, everybody's buying the stuff. So
Yep.
That's the thing.
There's a couple of moving parts that make that, quote unquote possible. And I've seen recently a big issue, and why I want to cover, for example, gaming news, is because I don't know if this has been a trend for a long time, but definitely in the last 4, 5, 6 years, I've seen multiple like journalist sources act like they have a genuine review, when in reality, it's they're getting paid for all of this. I cannot tell you the last time I saw a genuine review of a game. Hence why I look at Steam reviews, and that's pretty much it. There's gonna be bias in those as well, but yeah, like big websites, I can't trust them anymore.
You can't. It's like, look at this massive pile of shit, but it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous pile of shit. You're gonna love it, and you're gonna pay full price for it.
Yep. I agree. I don't know. It's crazy to me. It's crazy, but at the same time, everything sells. I mean, look at, like, for instance, I've got one myself because I wanted to cover it. The PlayStation Portal. It got crapped on so hard, Immediately sold out. Couldn't find it anywhere. Absolutely nowhere. And I think Sony themselves, legitimately with this one, did not make enough of those because I don't think they thought that it would sell the way that it did. Now, I could be wrong. They could have did the PS5 tactic, I feel like with that, though, it kind of was that case where maybe they did not make as many units or push as many units out there because they thought it was going to be a niche audience, which everybody sort of did. It's streaming. It's not a dedicated handheld. A lot of people still can't stream games.
So what are your thoughts about that? Like, that to me, when I saw it, and just to give you guys a little bit of background on me, is I had consoles around me when I was younger. I have a Switch. I have some older consoles, but I don't mainly game on console. When I saw PlayStation Portal, my first reaction was, they're charging what was it, $250? They're charging $250 for something that I can do on my phone.
Well, it's 200. It's $199.99.
Okay, it's $199 too much, in my opinion. If it's just streaming, right? Like if it's something that I can do on an app on my phone, personally, to me, that
you
is,
can.
yeah.
If you grab a backbone, which they even have a PlayStation branded backbone that looks identical to the PS5, it's got the color scheme and everything. Essentially, you can do just that. So if you have a subscription to be able to stream the games and you buy a backbone, which is $100, you're about, whatever the subscription price is now and the backbone, and that's it. But you got to have a phone that can handle it too. I mean, not everybody has a good phone.
That's true, but mainly the people that are going to be playing on the current gen, or I guess the next gen consoles, are the people that are usually, in the US, Canada, Australia, people that most of the time have
A decent phone.
a decent phone. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's. I would say that that's the case, but I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. It was kind of weird with me. So my issue, I am the type that I do not get to play my PlayStation 5 very much because it's hard to be tethered to a console. With the kid, um, it's very hard to have that dedicated time to just sit there with the TV. So by default, my Switch gets played the most when I get to play it all. And that's just how it is. Like I've got Series X sitting here too. Rarely get to play that. If there was like a viable option for that, I've tried it on the phone. I think it works better than PlayStation streaming. I think that the
I
Game
believe that.
Pass, yeah, the Game Pass, like their whatever their interface is, the stream aspect of it just works better than PlayStation does. I've tested both on my phone, tested both like retro based games and new games. The very first one I did when I did on the Xbox Series X, which I made a short about it probably a year and a half ago, and I did Toy Story. Did that. It ran pretty well, but it should because it's a retro game.
Yeah.
Tried that on the PlayStation, did not run nearly as well. Had issues. Now, granted, it's we've had firmware updates and updates to streaming and to the app, and there's almost updates to the app every single week. So I think they really are trying to optimize that, but it's so reliant on the device that you have, B, your internet connection, and yeah, I mean those are pretty big deals. You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of where I'm at on that particular subject. But I think that the PlayStation Portal is an interesting device, but it is a thing we got this year. One of several big accessories, I would say. Another one being another PlayStation accessory. We got the PSVR 2 at the beginning of the year, which also sold out immediately. Now you can find it everywhere, just like the PS5. But it did sell out immediately. And yeah, has anybody had any experience with that besides me?
Only the VR, the first VR. I haven't bought the second VR, but it doesn't surprise me that it's sold out, and it went ridiculous because people are going to buy it, and it's. I haven't seen how many improvements are done, but I have no doubt it's a lot better than what the first one was. But anything to do with accessories, people are going to pick it up, and now that virtual gaming catalog is a lot bigger now.
Yeah, it is. So I did not have a PSVR 1. It's weird. I actually did not have a PS4 during that cycle. I wasn't like making content like I am now. I was just writing, so it was mostly Nintendo stuff. So during that cycle, I didn't even have a PS4. So as far as like PS4 games, I've had to catch up a lot on all that stuff. I bought a lot of those. Thankfully, this is at least backwards compatible with that. But yeah, I didn't have a PS4, so I didn't get to play the PSVR 1. And I know it had a lot of issues, right? Like there was a lot of I don't know exactly what has been changed with PSVR 2, but it runs very smoothly. I think the biggest thing was like frame rate issues with PSVR 1. Is that right? Like it would be sort of jittery with games and like the resolution was not there.
The resolution was there. It was just some, just a couple of glitches, but nothing glaring.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like the PSVR 2. I think there's just not a lot of support for it. We're not getting anything first party for it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's a gimmick. Is that probably the way? It's more of a gimmick thing
right
to
now.
use.
I would say it used to be a gimmick, and I'm just gonna talk in VR in general because I did get to start playing VR games beginning of this year.
Okay.
I am on PC, so it's a different experience for me. There's less hardware limitations because you can always upgrade and do things differently.
Superior
There,
race, we get it.
I mean, I'm just saying it's a different
Sorry.
experience, right? Like you're going to have certain things um with PlayStation VR because it's geared
Yeah.
exactly towards a PlayStation. And then in some ways, it's actually superior than PC because it's made specifically for that, right? So in that sense, I believe that you know it there's pros and cons for both. I would say 5 years ago, VR was a gimmick,
Yeah.
personally. Definitely because there was not enough games, there was not enough programs, there was not enough real life utilization for it, right? But now when I tried
Yeah.
it, I had, a half a dozen games that were pretty interesting. I
Yeah.
came back to them. I took a break recently just because of the way that my content is right now. I'm playing um Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3, I'm playing The Outer Worlds. So I'm just catching up on some titles, right? And doesn't require VR, but I'm definitely looking forward to see where VR goes. It's an interesting space for sure.
Well, probably
Yeah.
we'll also kick that into is the Oculus.
Yes.
That also would have jump started as well, or pushed it even more.
I think that Valve, whatever the Valve device was that you had to be tethered
Index,
to the PC. Yeah, the
Valve
Valve
Index.
Index. Yeah, that really kick-started where I would say it was no longer like just a gimmick. It kind of still was there, but like it was starting to capture that audience because like if you look, for instance, we're all on Facebook and Kurgle, especially there are a ton of streamers that are VR only, like just straight VR streams, and
Oh, for
it
sure. Yeah.
it does well for people. It does very well for people.
Yeah.
But I wanted to mention too, we got the VR2, which is great, and I would say first party support, just like PlayStation always does. They did it with the Vita. I mean, they don't
Oh,
give
look,
support for
look,
stuff.
people want this stuff. Let's stop selling it.
Right, it makes sense, right? Like,
Yeah.
absolutely makes no sense. I don't know if you guys know, but the Vita was the top selling system in Japan. It's the number one selling handheld, period, in Japan, besides the Switch now. Other than that,
Really?
the Vita was the go-to system. So it's weird. Japanese culture, they do not like to be tethered to consoles. They're very much handheld. Um, they
I mean, it
love the
makes
handheld.
sense. That's where it blew up, really.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
way of
yeah, I
life
mean,
and everything.
yep. Yep, they typically have, very small spaces. They're often in very, very small spaces. So like collecting is not like a big thing there. But they don't like hoard retro games. Um it's just like the generalization. Obviously not everybody, but I know a lot of people that have moved to Japan and live there, and that's sort of kind of the lifestyle is that they're very handheld heavy. It's like the Vita had a massive audience in Japan, but PlayStation just didn't support it. And it's unfortunate with the PSVR 2 because it's a great device. And the support, again, just kind of like the VR 1, from what I understand, is mostly coming from like indie developers, or like Limited Run is putting out like VR games. So like a lot of those indie titles are getting stuff. I've got maybe 11 or 12 physical PSVR 2 games, actually. And a lot of them are PAL games that we didn't even get here. So you can get digitally. I think you can access some of those digitally, but yeah, I'm a physical guy, so I order it that way. But it's unfortunate that we don't get more support for that. But the MetaQuest 3 came out this year.
That
To
was a
pretty
big one,
high
yeah.
acclaim,
Yeah.
and people seem to love that, along with the Pro. The Pro came out as well, but
Seeing nothing but good reviews.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
think people are also finally getting around to the idea of VR. Obviously, as I said, it used to be a gimmick for a lot of people. There's just certain things like the Vita was, I think, ahead of its time. Like it
Mhm.
it it was something that was niche that people didn't understand. They didn't understand that our lives are going to be so extremely busy. We're going to be wanting things on the go, right? I remember, I think I was fourth grade or fifth grade. I can't remember, but I had this rich friend and he used to bring his Vita to school. And I'd be like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like I never cared for like sports games, but I can play FIFA like in the
Yep.
fucking on the gym class. Like, holy shit, this is amazing. And it just
Yeah.
I don't think they realized they realized too late when they already pulled out of the market that
Hmm.
there was indeed a
An
huge
audience.
following for it. There was money in it, but who
Oh
knows?
yeah.
By the time, because probably by the time they released it, they already planned to cancel it 2 years before that, right? So
They
yeah,
did. They the last 3 years there was no support from PlayStation at all, and you know what kept it alive? Limited run games. As much crap as they do get for things, they kept it alive. Limited run started with Vita. Their very first release was a Vita game. I think their first
Oh
like
shit.
10 releases were Vita games. Which,
hmm
by the way, that first game that released, Breach and Clear, is like a $700 game now because it was their first release. Um,
Jesus,
yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, I mean they
Of
kept it
course it is.
alive. Like these indie developers and these limited release companies are what kept the Vita alive. And I'm afraid that the same thing is going to happen for the VR2 if they don't announce something soon, other than like an expansion on Resident Evil 4, which is cool. That's cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's really cool. And they announced it for, or it is out for Village too, right? There's a PSVR 2
Hmm.
VR mode
Yeah.
for Village as
what do you
well, I
what do you
believe.
yeah, and when we're talking about like not widely adopted things, what do you guys think of the fact that the new iPhone is going to be able to run Resident Evil? I heard it didn't get great remarks, but apparently the M1 or M2 chip, whatever they're using right now, is capable of locally running like
Yes,
Resident Evil 7, or was it
I think it's
Village?
amazing.
That's 7, right?
That's
Village
Yeah.
7. No,
yeah.
Sorry, I
Village
don't
is
play
8.
Resident. I never played
You're
Resident
good.
Evil games,
You're
so
good.
Yeah.
just let me know if
That's
I'm not
that's
talking
insane
about
to
the right
think
game.
about.
I
Yeah,
think
that's
it's
insane to think
amazing.
about that you can do that.
I mean, I'm all for technology improving, and I'm not a mobile gamer per se, but if I had the access to
Yeah.
play those games natively on my phone like that, it might be different for me because, like I said,
Mm.
because of like the sort of situation of being busy all the time, and by default, the Switch just unfortunately gets the most play when I do play. That can happen. Like I can be playing some of those new releases. I do believe it said for Village and 7 playing those natively, and from what I understand, it was locked at
Mm.
60. Is that correct? Like it was
That's
locked
still
at
way.
Uh,
60.
I mean, if it was locked at 30, I would say like, okay, this should be better. But locking it at 60 FPS, that's
that's not
insane.
bad.
That's in your
Uh,
pocket. Like that's
Yeah.
pretty mind blowing. And I'm not an iPhone user. I always use Android, and I just think it's really cool that they get something like that. Because on MacBook, I haven't heard great things about like game support. And they for a
Sure.
little while they were going and they were supporting more and more games, and then eventually I think they just kind of dropped it. They stopped a lot of that support.
Let's stuff it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but I think it's really really cool. Because what are they at? Is it the M4 chip? Is that what's being used in the new iPad and iMac and MacBook? I'm an Apple phone guy. I'm an iPhone guy, but I don't have
Mm.
anything else Apple, so I'm a little behind.
I think that's how high it's going. Like I use a MacBook, and the only reason I bought a MacBook because a lot of people like content creators and podcasters I all spoke to were like, get a Mac. If you're just doing editing and recording, just get a Mac. If you're doing anything gaming, don't even touch it.
Yeah,
Interesting. 'Cause
and
I hear the
that's
opposite.
fair.
But I mean,
Yes.
yeah, I hear the opposite. I always hear to avoid anything Apple essentially when it comes to content creation. But hey, I mean, whatever works, right? Like if it works, it works. Like I would love to have a MacBook just to use as like my daily user. Honestly, I really would. I like the ecosystem that Apple and has with the integration with the iPhone and just being able to do things, the interconnectivity and I like the sort of
That's-
ecosystem they have.
That makes it a lot easier. Trying to get all files around is so much easier.
That would be my biggest thing. Considering I film, especially when I'm out and about, I film on my phone. I don't know about you guys if like when you film regular videos outside of like being on your desktop or laptop, you guys film with your phone or do you use DSLR or
I used to
Uh,
personally, don't do as much lately, just because again, the way that my content has been lately.
sure.
Hmm.
Sure.
I use my phone depending on what it is. Usually anything to do with like podcasting clips and all that stuff, it's all through. But if I see something half decent, I'm like, nah, I'll film that. I'll do that, and then
Sure.
just airdrop it straight to the MacBook.
See, I would love to be able to do that. It's a pain exporting when you are working on an iPhone and doing your filming, and yeah, I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. It's a massive pain, huge pain, especially I mean because they have their own what do you call it, video format, right?
Yep, which makes it even worse.
Oh
It makes
yeah,
it even worse.
I was gonna say that's like one thing that would definitely, because sometimes I have to move stuff around for my wife
Yeah,
because she does a little bit of content creation for her online business, but
sure.
they make it unbearably difficult, and that's why so many people like the convenience of the ecosystem that they make, because obviously they want to keep you in the closed loop, they want to keep you with their devices,
Yeah.
which is fair, like it's their thing, but
If you want to make
something to
money,
be something to be aware of. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like the ecosystem. I would love to have a MacBook to be able to do that and just easily transfer the video. Gosh, is it a pain now? I hate it. I dread it. It sucks. Yeah, it sucks. I did a collab video this year, and we had everybody filmed with their phone except one person. We had one Android user. Everybody else was filming on an iPhone. So the file formats and trying to put that together was an absolute disaster. And for some reason, when converting the person's video file that filmed with an Android phone, it like did something with the color that just like jacked it up. Like the video looked horrible. We tried editing, did everything we could. There was 3 of us working on it, and we just could not get it to look normal. So we put the full video together. It gets to his point, and it just looks awful, just absolutely terrible.
just
Yeah.
bright.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was. It was like super, super bright, and it was just it was a pain.
And there's a good
Jeez,
point
that's weird.
because developers, when they're calibrating these cameras, when they're doing these things, right, when you think about it, you have probably 100 different versions of an Android, right, on the same chip.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
Easily.
when you have an iPhone, you have an iPhone, right? So the developers for Apple are going to calibrate their cameras really well, and that's one thing that Apple definitely does well, is the picture qualities is great.
Oh yeah.
But when you get to Android, like you will have some, not off-brand, but you will, one of the non-flagship carriers, like not carriers but manufacturers like Xiaomi or Hero or Honor, whatever they are, you will have cameras that on paper should be as good or not even better than iPhone devices, but because of the way that development and calibrating for these cameras work, they can never produce a picture in clarity the way that iPhones can.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting. But I mean, to loop back around to sort
Gaming.
of talking about the gaming
Yeah,
on
go
an
right back
iPhone.
around.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love the conversation. I'm all for it because talking tech is up my alley too. But yeah, I just think it's interesting that they're able to apply that chip to a phone, and I think that the iPhone 16, from what has been shown in the sort of leaks, I guess, on it, is going to be absolutely insane. At least at their Pro Max model of the phone is going to be crazy.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it'll
And
be
the thing
interesting.
is, like, I've never even with that, I don't know. Well, for me personally, I wouldn't be want to play a game on my phone, like Resident Evil. I'd be so tempted, like, no, I'm just gonna play at home on the console.
Well,
I mean, that's
they
fair.
have a
Yeah.
they have a docked mode though. You can, from what I've seen, you can connect your phone to a TV
Yes.
and just play it like a normal console, which is pretty cool.
Let
I
me
think
put it
that's
this way.
incredible.
I did a short a while
That makes
ago
it
where I
easier.
connected my phone to a CRT TV. So you can definitely do it. It took about 4 adapters to do so, but I connected it to a CRT, and I've done that with some other weird stuff too, like putting like the TurboGrafx 16 Express, the handheld, playing it on a Nintendo Wii, like just like weird stuff like that, on a little portable TV, like hooking it to that. You can do it
Let's
through
see what
like radio.
happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. I'm a weirdo. Like, you used to be able to see behind me, like the CRTs. Now I'm gonna have them away, but I've got a lot of CRTs. I'm a big fan when it comes to retro gaming with that.
The tube
Um,
nerd.
I am a two dude. I really am. I used to say at one point, I don't think I feel this way now. I think I definitely feel a little bit different, especially when it comes to like retro gaming and just like the whole scene. But I used to say that I enjoyed CRTs as much as I did gaming. Like, it's pretty equal. Sometimes I liked them more. Like, I went pretty nuts with them for a while. I got into all the specs with them and trying to track down like the Holy Grail unit and the professional video monitors and stuff like that, which is what I use as like my main, is like a PVM. So I'm a nerd with that stuff, but yeah.
That's fine.
CRT
Just-
podcast confirmed.
yeah, no,
Coming soon.
not doing it. Not doing it. Yeah. And speaking of which, do either of you guys have a CRT in your home?
I used to have one. I got rid of it, unfortunately. I'm planning on
Yeah.
getting one when I find a good deal, though. I have a possible model in my friend's house, but right now with the space, I just can't have it.
Go with a small one. Find a really small one. Like those are the ones that people are after. People want the very small CRTs. The smaller the better.
Oh, I believe it.
Like they're the pricier ones.
Yeah.
Like I have a BVM, like a broadcast monitor, and it is a 7-inch, and is like very sought after, essentially. Like people really want it. When I got it, I didn't know that like, oh, everybody wants a really small CRT. It's all about getting like the best scan lines and like all that stuff. Like trying to make retro gaming better. People are just like so
Better.
about
Yeah.
it. And, yeah, making it look the best that it can, getting component cables and all that jazz. So
Chris.
yeah, but that's been a thing this year for me though. I got into that a lot, like grabbing component cables for all my retro systems and trying to hook up everything the best way that I can. I grabbed a retro tank this year so I can plug a retro console straight into that and stream it and actually play on the console. And
Oh shit.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. They just released a 4K model of it, so this is already outdated. I think this one came out in 2021 that I have, and the 4K model is $800. So if you're wanting to drop some cash,
That doesn't shock me at all.
yeah, and it's sold out. Like there's none available right now.
Of course not.
It's a one-man production team for that. So but yeah, I mean, people love it. Like you go on Twitter, look up RetroTink 4K, man. And honestly, I would love to have one. If you got a 4K OLED TV, like that's the way to go with it. Like your games are going to look crisp. Like you're not even going to be able to tell that you're not playing on a CRT. Like that's the whole intention, is to get that sort of black level, that sort of latency, or non-latency, I guess, and yeah, CRTs are just able to do things that modern TVs can't, but OLEDs are getting very
100%.
close.
Yeah.
He says here we expect to take until January the 15th to complete all December orders.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, I mean, it's an awesome device. Like if you watch some videos on YouTube and like you don't really like understand the whole, I mean, there's really like a whole culture behind it, but like it's worth doing the deep dive, because if you do plan to do stuff like that where you eventually want to, you can stream, but you can also just record or literally just play on your big TV with your original console. Like it is the way to go. Now I have a 4K TV, but I don't have an OLED, and that's what they suggest to have, because I mean OLEDs are just, oh my god, they're spectacular. They get as close at, to CRTs as we ever gotten with like the C3, I think it's called C3 or C4, whatever, that one that everyone
LG.
seems to grab.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like as close as we've ever gotten, and they're trying. Like manufacturers are really trying to get to that level of like the black level and the detail level that CRTs offer, that we just don't have on modern TVs. So.
Also,
all kinds of messages on Messenger about the show.
Also, you said it was $750. Australian would be $1,100.
Oh my god in heaven! Yeah, no thanks. That conversion rate, I forgot, is absolutely crazy.
Awful.
My brother was living there for 3 years. They moved back with. He found a lady there and got married. So he had like he was kind of. It's kind of cool because you're sort of in the center. Like if you are into retro games at all, like you're in the center, like the epidemic of being able to get the PAL games easily, the Japanese games easily, and the NTSC games easily. So like there is no better place to get them all. Like they're all there, easily accessible. Like I think more than any other place that Australia has access to all of them, because I mean,
yeah, we don't have much access to anything.
Oh, this is gonna cost you a pretty penny with import taxes, though.
Yep.
I don't know, man. With what I've seen, you guys got crazy stuff there. My brother sent stuff out that it's been both PAL releases, Japanese releases, and releases from here. So I think I don't know, it's there. And you got a lot of retro game shops in Australia. I follow a lot on Facebook that do very, very well, and they tend to carry all three.
We do have those, though. Yeah. That I can say we do have a lot of them.
Are you okay? So let's talk a little bit about your content, because it's always very interesting. You talk a lot about Marvel movies, like a lot. So what's your sort of reasoning behind that, besides just loving Marvel?
Just with what's popular at the moment and what I'm watching, like right now, Marvel just dropped a brand new TV show the last week. That's why I've been talking about it. And originally,
What If?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And originally, the podcast was going to be a Marvel podcast only.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting.
That was the first idea, but then I was like, well, if there's no game, there's no TV show, and there's no movie, then I'm up shit creek.
Yeah, that's true. I'm glad you didn't do it that way, because it gives you access to being able to talk about other things.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. That's why I asked, because it seemed like you were heavily a Marvel guy, and I would say 90% of the content I've seen from you is Marvel related, and that's how I found you.
Oh, well, I'll need to fix that. You probably seen a lot of it because like the major villain in Marvel's just been arrested and fired
Yes. Yeah.
due to assault charges. So that brings up a lot of content.
Yeah. It does. Yeah, I know. I watched your whole live stream the other day and talking about
Which
that.
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I enjoy it. I like to hear conversation through all pop culture because I don't just like video games, man. I like it all. I'm into all of it. Like I remember
no.
Kurgo when you came on the podcast the first time. Like at some point we talked about toys even, and I like toys, and then that's one of the plans
Oh,
for.
speaking of toys, I gotta show you guys this.
Yeah, let's see it.
Oh shit, what's he got?
I don't know. It's gonna be something dirty.
No,
I know that.
No. I'm not one of those weirdos. I'm sure that we have people that watch that are weirdos, but no. I'm not
Holy
a huge,
shit.
I'm not a huge DBZ guy. I'm mostly a Dragon Ball guy. Like I like the
Dragon
original
Ball's my favorite
episodes.
too.
And but I got this cool little Christmas present, and I don't know how well you can see it on camera because it's gonna keep
That's
glitching
sick.
out because of the.
Yeah, the same
But-
one. No,
but
that's
very
a different
similar.
one.
But the amount of detail and the way that it's done, it just blew my mind when I unpacked it. Even if you can see here on the knee, you can actually see right here, it's actually sharp. Like they made the
That's
whole
sick.
yeah, like
Yeah.
all of it is just
Wow.
crazy detailed. And then I actually want to show you guys what one of my favorites is Adam Jensen
Oh,
from
Very
Mankind
nice.
Divided. It is
So
one of my
cool.
absolute favorite
If I could
figures
grab
that
my
I have.
collectors right now, I would show you. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I think I showed you actually when you were on the podcast before.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan myself. That's really, really cool, man.
Mm.
Yeah, I love
that's
it.
That's a good Christmas present.
Yeah, so you just show me your Goku figure. Are you into toys as well?
The ones I do have been from going to conventions or people coming back from Japan as friends. I was
Okay.
like, oh,
That's
how's your
even
trip?
cooler.
Yeah, here's a Goku statue. You're like, sure, thank you. But yeah, that goes right next to my lightsabers.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Do you have like the is it the effects, whatever the effects ones? I think they're called the Black Series.
I think it. Yeah, I think it is. I got for my 30th birthday. My mate's got me the Darth Maul lightsabers
Oh,
that
nice.
do the light up, and you can do the full smash with them, and we all got lightsabers.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
So there's
yeah,
like
I think that's the Black Series Force Effects. I think that's what those are called. I could be wrong. Could correct me in the chat. I'm not sure.
It's how me and my partner decide who's doing the dishes.
I love it. That's awesome.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I'm in the toys as well. Like I'm the same sort of way. Like I'm not heavily like collecting them or anything right now, but pre getting back, I was never out of gaming. But I've gone through like phases of like collecting where I collect this specific thing or whatever, and before I got back into games the way that I did as far as like actually collecting them, it was all Godzilla and Power Rangers. So I had a ton of, and just kaiju in general. I had so many different kaiju figures. It was unreal, and I loved all the Zords. I love the designs. Like I don't even keep up with the current series, but I always like to check out like the new designs of whatever the Megazords are. They're never called the Megazords anymore, but whatever they're called for that series. I always like to look at the designs because it's interesting to see that every time we get a new Power Rangers season or series, it was originally in Japan, and it was like 3 or 4 behind. It was a Toku series there, and the sort of differences they even change up like whatever the Zords look like, and I like to see the toy differences and the lack of detail we get here versus what they get in Japan for all of that stuff is just unreal. Like
it's also the amount of differences in the cultures, right? People here want cheaper stuff. People here want, things that we want everything in the States, I feel like, because it's such a consumerism centered and I can attest to this because I moved to this country 7 years ago, and growing up in Eastern Europe, like if you wanted like a cool action figure, right, you would have to take quarter of your monthly pay and be like, okay, I really want to have this collector's item. So if somebody's collecting in Eastern Europe, for example, you will have like maybe 10, 15, like 20 items, but 20 items that you really care about. Well, here you can be a collector and be like, okay, this paycheck I'm gonna buy 20 different action figures. I don't care what they look like. I just care that I have more and more and more and more,
Yeah.
But I feel like also in Japan, because it comes back to what we talked about with consoles, is they have limited space. They have things that they care about, right? If you like Godzilla, that's all you actually collect. That's all you do. You don't just go and collect every single fandom and every single possible action figure and, things of that nature. So there's more appreciation for detailed, centered sculptures, because that Goku actually that I just showed you, that was imported from China. That is not something that's readily available around here.
Well,
Oh,
So
so that's Chinese made.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
Chinese
And you
wow.
can
made.
tell the
Okay.
quality.
Yeah, it's licensed. It's licensed, but yeah, I looked it up. It actually comes from China. It is not it when I say comes from China, everything's made in China, but it comes from it's in Chinese packaging. It is not something that's geared for
Sure.
Western, Western retail.
That's sick.
Yeah,
I think it's
I was pretty
super
happy
cool.
with it.
What brand is that?
I'll have to get the box and I'll let you know after.
I wonder if it's SH Figure Arts. They do a
What is
lot
it?
of
SH?
SH Figure Arts. They do a lot of those Dragon Ball and like Super they do all of them. Like
Yeah,
they just released a GT figure.
yeah. I will let you know after the stream. For
Yeah.
sure. I have the box. So, oh wait, did I have it here?
Yeah, I love it, man. And that's one thing I wanted to sort of hit
Oh,
this
right, I
year.
have it.
Okay. Let's see it. Oh, it's cut out.
Oh, even the box looks mint.
Yeah, it is cool.
Do you
It
see
is. This is, I guess, the artist, but let me just see
I wonder
here.
if it's like one of those artist series.
Oh wait, no! It's made by Bandai Spirits in Tokyo, Japan. Why did I think it
Okay.
was China? Okay, so
I'm
it is
surprised with the quality because usually when you get like a release from like say Bandai or um, anything from like the actual series, it's usually pretty not
Yeah,
good quality.
yeah,
You
yeah,
get the good quality from like those boutique releases like SH Figure Arts or
yeah,
Monster Arts for Godzilla is the one that puts out all the Godzilla and King Kong stuff that's like really cool and like the adult collectible stuff. Um, so
yeah.
that's
I mean,
cool, man.
it looks like a lot of these are actually really well done. You can see some of them over here. They list like the other ones they have. It's cutting out, but I don't know how well you can see. But
Yeah.
there's 3 times what 5, so 15 other figures you can see here.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Love it. I know we're sort of all
good.
over the place, which is okay because this is it's a New Year's special, so I kind of wanted to be just sort of whatever. But
it's fun.
let's talk. Yeah, let's talk. So, what's your thoughts on the what if? I want to hear what you're thinking on sort of the Marvel front period. Honestly,
What if season 2? I think is a much bigger improvement compared to the first season, both in the writing and the quality itself. Like just the animation style seems a bit more
sure.
crisp. Like they've had a bit more time with it. And I said this in my review yesterday with my episodes. Is like they do have what if questions that I probably wouldn't have asked, like these characters and these characters, but I still found it entertaining. However, I know for a lot of people they'll probably just complain and go, "Oh, it's shit. It's not what I want," or the whole Mary Sue story and all that. But no, I think to end the year out, I think Marvel did with this show really good, especially considering the fact that at the start of this year, Ant-Man 3 dropped, which was shit.
Yeah, I haven't even watched it.
No, you don't have to. Don't have to.
I feel like
And-
here's the problem with the MCU, and I know you touched on it on your podcast, but our listeners, we don't get to talk about it as much as I would like to. I feel like they've got it set up where you've got to watch everything. You feel that way?
If you want to, as a casual fan, if you really want to understand everything, you have to watch the TV shows, which is a bit daunting. But in saying that, like for example, like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 that we got this year, you really didn't. There's no TV show attached to it. You could have really just watched 1, 2, and Infinity War Endgame, and you've been fine. But Marvel is betting at the moment now that you are going to watch everything from top to bottom.
That's so bad.
And yeah, it's bad. And to what, no fault of their own, they announced that they're Disney Plus. They announced they're going to do TV shows. They got their lineup, everything, and then boom, COVID hit, which hurt them so much because the quality of the shows have dipped, the animation and CGI has dipped, so it's almost a hit and miss. Like for example, this year we got a TV show called Secret Invasion, which didn't really hit the mark and was a bit half baked. And then we get Loki season 2, which had more time, which is fantastic. And then next year, for the first time in about 10 years, we're only getting one DC movie and one Marvel movie, and that's it.
Wow, shocking.
Because well, for two reasons: one, DC's rebooting itself again,
Oh god.
and two, and two, the actors' strike screwed up everything.
Oh yeah, it really did. I mean, it really did. What was being filmed at the time during that? There was a Marvel something that was actually being filmed where they like,
Deadpool 3.
Yes. Yeah.
Deadpool 3, that got shut down. Beetlejuice 2 got shut down. Dune got pushed back to next year. And there was another major movie that also got shut down because of filming for it because they couldn't do it. Which is, and because of that, that's why we were going to get 3 Marvel movies next year. Now it's just 1.
I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's probably a good thing, right? Because the Marvel overload is real.
Well, yeah. I think we're getting 4 shows next year from Marvel. We're getting 4 shows, but only 1 movie. But another thing that's, I was saying this again yesterday, was because of those actors' strike. This year we come out probably one of the best years in movies. Yet next year will probably be one of the dullest because everything's been delayed and pushed back.
Interesting. Yeah, I was gonna look up here what sort of what we're looking at Marvel in 2024.
Yeah, we got Deadpool 3 in June, and then we've got Echo coming out next week, and then we're meant to also have 3 animated TV shows. One Spider-Man animated TV show. It's gonna be very comic book style. And then we got another one, which is they're making a sequel to the X-Men 1990s kids TV show. They're making a sequel TV show to that.
If they do that right, I'm excited.
Yeah, well, from the first concept art they released, it looks like it's a near copy, animation style and drawing.
All right.
And then we get What If Season 3.
Yeah, so I haven't watched any of season 2, but season 1, it was very meh. Like, I didn't care that much.
I would say give season 2 a chance because I feel like they've had a lot more time to pull over this one. But like Echo at the moment, Echo is a character that I didn't think would get her own TV show, but this is going under Marvel's made a new Marvel banner called Marvel Spotlight, which is essentially what they're going to be bringing in for like more bloody, more like Daredevil, and more brutal aspects.
So some
So
Blade.
yeah, Blade, like even Blade will go under it. Like right now, Deadpool 3 and Blade are meant to be MA R rated.
Now I mentioned on your show that I want to see something good for Ghost Rider. We saw him what in one episode of Agents of Shield. Is that right? One
Yep.
episode.
Yep.
I want more. I want more. He's one of my favorite characters.
I have no doubt the Marvel's got a plan for him, and probably the next thing I would say he would pop up would be Blade. Blade is to me would be the only way you could make sense. Yeah, X-Men 97.
Interesting. I'm excited for that.
No, that looks good. And hearing that old theme again is just gonna be sick. Oh yeah, sorry, and Agatha, which is a sequel to WandaVision.
Okay, I liked WandaVision. It's different.
But yeah, for DC, next year we've just got Joker 2.
Eyes of Wakanda.
Yep. That's that's the animation style they're going for Spider-Man.
I don't know. From that, it looks it looks like maybe they're trying to do like another. It almost looks like Archie comics
kind of style. So this is will essentially, with some characters changing, this will be like Tom Holland's Spider-Man and how he became Spider-Man,
right?
That kind of style. And then at the end of the year, we're going to get Marvel Zombies, which is meant to be like MA as well.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. I've read all the series for Marvel Zombies. Yeah, I see right below here, to be determined.
Yeah.
2024.
That's right.
Cool. All right.
But Deadpool 3, I doesn't really bother me that that's the only Marvel movie we're getting next year. The fact that it's Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, I'm like, done.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, I mean, on the gaming front, we've got there's been quite a bit of stuff. So, like, obviously, it's been heavily discussed. We know GTA 6, like, that's happening. We're a little slow on. Yeah, it definitely broke the internet, and then also broke the internet that it's 2025, which I'm for, man. If it needs more polish, if it needs done right, give it the time. I'm tired of these half-baked releases. You know what I mean?
But what are your guys' thoughts of it taking so long already? Do you guys think it's cool? It's okay?
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it because it's we all know, and of every game developer, for me, Rockstar is the only one where if they took as long, I'd still be like, no, I'll buy it. Like, it doesn't matter if they produced a giant, if it was a goat simulator or something like that, I'll buy it straight away, and I have complete faith in them. And probably the reason why maybe getting, it's taking even longer is because those they got hacked at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
That's probably what's pushed out a good another 6 months.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was personally, and I was curious about your guys' opinion on this because seeing where and how GTA 5 evolved or devolved, in my opinion, it really made me question what they were doing. As I said, I have been playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I wish I started earlier. It's absolutely an incredible game.
Very good.
It is. I mean, I was mind blown, right? And I really like GTA 4. GTA 5 campaign, I had fun with it, but at the end of it, I didn't really care. Because there was 3 main characters. I couldn't really, obviously everybody loved Trevor because he's freaking crazy, and that's what you want to do in video games. You want to be a maniac. Nobody cared for Michael because, I mean, it just depicts a normal middle-aged man that's, has a career, does, some drugs on the side, like very basic stuff. And then you have the not the classic, but you have, the guy that's trying to get out of the ghetto. And in a way made me think about GTA 6 a lot, because they have these great ambitions, but after playing the GTA 5 campaign and just not being super connected to it, I'm kind of hesitant to be excited about GTA 6, because I feel like it's been such a long time and they put so much money into GTA 5 online that I don't see them developing a great single player experience. I might be, I don't know if a lot of people feel the same way or not, but to me, it had a, when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, cool. It's a big city. And all I kept thinking about is like, okay, they're really just trying to make a world in which 5M, which for people that don't know is like this huge role playing community. They have their servers, they make these roles, and it's super RP focused. I feel like Rockstar is now pushing to make GTA 6 a everlasting online experience and something that's geared towards online. And I personally don't like that. I know I'm probably in the minority because, I always love GTA games
I don't
for
think
the
you
single
are.
player. You don't think I'm in the minority?
I don't think you're in the minority.
Okay.
No, because one thing I will admit with Grand Theft Auto 5 that did irritate me was that I remember them announcing that you were going to get more single player DLC in future that they were going to make, but they never did. Because they got so hooked in with on the online mode. And don't get me wrong, the online mode is insane. It's great, but but to me, I was like, I really would have liked that deal, that whatever they had cooking up. That would have still been nice to get that deal. And I think the actors too did mention that they were meant to go back, but they never did.
No, I'm sure they're gonna do something like single player related. It makes me sad to think about the fact that, going from, GTA San Andreas to GTA 4, going through these crazy powerful stories and really cool stories, even Vice City, even though it had its technical limitations, it was a really fun experience from beginning to end. And then I went into 5 and a lot of that charm kind of went away. I don't know.
Oh, don't
As
worry.
I said,
you're gonna find that in Red Dead though.
I mean, apparently, like they are working on Red Dead 3, and I'm almost at the end of Red Dead 2, and it just been such a pleasant change of pace after playing GTA 5. I was really happy about that.
I actually have the mate I was telling you about earlier. He hasn't played Red Dead 2, and I'm like, you gotta do it, you gotta stream it, man, you gotta play it. And all year I've been nearly multiple times in each of his streams, I've gone into and go, oh, you should be playing Red Dead. Oh, this is not Red Dead, I don't care. And he's finally gonna do it this week. I'm like, I want to see you cry. I want to see you cry.
Yeah, it's man, Rockstar did some they pulled my strings with that. Anyway, I'm not gonna spoil it for other people, but yeah, it's an exciting exciting year for video games. There's a lot of things coming up. What are your guys' wishes for 2024?
I'm really looking forward to Suicide Squad. Besides all the backlash that has gotten, I'm still excited for it. I'm still playing because Rocksteady did so good with the Arkham series. Even if the gameplay is awful, I have no doubt the story is going to be insane. And that's probably my top pick. My second one, off the top of my head, is there's a game called Hypercharge.
Okay. Hyper or
it's
Harper?
Like Toy Story meets Hyper.
Is that the one where
Hypercharge, and it's like
toys, but Call of Duty?
Wait, hasn't that been that's already been out, hasn't it?
It's out, but it's releasing on Xbox.
It's releasing on console. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I haven't got to play it, but man, I remember.
It looks sick.
Actually did a news video on it. I was like kind of shocked. I was like, it looks really awesome.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
I think in Steam it's got like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I remember when I first found it, I was like, yeah. Oh, it's PC. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks. I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming. Like Tekken 8 is a big one I'm looking forward to. That's right around the
That's in
corner, and
Feb, isn't it?
that comes out in January, and
Oh
you
yeah,
can play the
shit.
demo on PlayStation right now. So I
Oh,
have not got
really?
to play the demo
Already?
yet. Yeah, the demo's out on PlayStation. I think it launched last week, and a
Interesting.
friend of mine, it's another podcast, she got to go to the event for Tekken 8 and check the whole thing out, the
Oh,
final
that would have
game,
been
and
sick.
yeah, it's kind of it's sort of like those events that you've gone to, like the movie premieres. It's like that sort of thing. Premiere the game,
I'd love to go to
content
something like
creators
that.
getting their takes. Yeah, we'll get you lined up for some conventions at some point. We got to get you here, and I definitely want to get there. How's the convention scene there in Australia? I know of
Uh,
one big game convention there, but I don't know of too many other smaller ones.
I would say for between like gaming and like pop culture and stuff, I'd say it's probably about 3-4 a year. Like
Really?
decent ones,
Like the
yeah,
major ones?
decent major ones, decent to go to.
Okay.
Do you
have
go to
any
any
like
of them personally?
Yeah, two. Yeah, I've gone to two this year.
Nice.
It was one of those PAX, which is the gaming event, and then went to Comic Con.
Oh,
Is PAX
awesome.
is PAX related strictly towards esports or no? Because that sounds familiar.
Uh,
Because I think that was
no,
revolved around League of Legends a lot, wasn't it?
yeah, there was a lot of League of Legends stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it's funny when you, so we're some of these games like try this new game. I'm like this look because of the creator. It's like yeah, this looks cool. I'm gonna walk away now. This looks terrible.
Did you go to Comic Con like as press, like media, or did you like just go to
No,
check it out?
just as a
Okay.
I've too late to fill any of that out. But no, I just went as a fan.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I'll tell you what, for me here in the US, there is a new one popping up, not just one single new one. They're everywhere. I mean, like I just got invited out for a brand new one that's launching here in Ohio. And the guy has three other conventions, I believe. I believe three. He's got like a pop culture centric one, like an anime convention. I want to say TCG, and then this is like a video game centric one. And they're popping up everywhere. I've got friends, a lot of friends that run conventions, that are doing very well here. I mean, shout out to like Southeast Game Exchange. They're really making numbers with people coming and content creators and being one that everyone loves, and SoCal Retro Gaming Expo. And a lot of these have like retro in the title or have in the past, but they're not just that. A lot of them are
Yeah.
pop culture too. They have a lot of other stuff.
Do you think it like the resurgence of
Yeah.
expos is due to partially due COVID because people just want to get out of the house more?
I think
that's true.
I think so. And
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
got-
aware of any that have like failed and not done well. Any of the new ones even. I went to three brand new ones this year, and all were very successful.
Shit.
So yeah, I mean, I think they're doing well.
See, you guys
that's
also
really cool.
have like a shit ton of podcasting events as well.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
here, it's like lucky to get one.
But the problem
that.
is for me is I live in the middle of nowhere, Ohio. So like my access to pretty much anything like that is unaccessible. Like I really got to travel. So like I know there's a big content creator sort of conference that I got invited out to this year, but I couldn't do it. The weekend prior, I had a convention that I already said I would go to. I didn't want to do another one. I had a weekend after that I had a convention, so I was like, I don't want to do three back-to-back weekends. But those conferences and like those sort of content creator specific things, I think are really cool. I've not gotten to go to as many as I'd like to, but I've done a lot of the online like events, like the Facebook one I did. What was it, like 2 months ago? So I got a lot of their stats and what they're going to be pushing, and then I did the YouTube one this year as well, where they were talking about 8K and 4K being their new standard and what they're pushing and stuff like that. I mean, it's interesting.
Shit.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Okay, because you guys would also have that new YouTube app now. Isn't it? YouTube has a new app they were making
For
I'm not-
a
podcasts?
while ago. Oh, it was. I don't know. It was meant to be like a juiced up version of TikTok for YouTube.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm not aware of
Maybe-
it, but
Yeah, I'm not sure.
maybe they haven't. Maybe they haven't officially released it yet. It was something. It was something like that. That for it was basically their juiced up version of TikTok for YouTube and posting.
that would be kind of cool. I mean, if it works to like help us that do shorts, I'm all for it. But if it's just like another way to, just
To post
look at
shorts.
just straight shorts,
Yeah.
then
Yeah,
I don't know
that
how
was
interested I am.
It was mainly for creating shorts, but also having the accessibility of linking it to your long form content and all that. I just remember when it got announced, I was like, cool, all right, so that's going to come out 2024. Australia will get that in 2026. Probably.
Is it really like that though? Is it really the push out to you guys with stuff like that? Is it really?
It could
that
be like a
long
good
of a wait?
Depending on what it is, about 5 to 6 months, depending if it's
Because
a new app.
I see a lot of things that don't get pushed out here first, like in the US. Like there's been some YouTube stuff, like for instance the tier 1 YouTube partner, like what I just hit, that didn't come out in the US first. They launched that in other territories, like EU first. And
yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with laws, and they need to test out what people are accepting of, because a lot of times they'll do like a feature test in Australia and be like, okay, let's see if we can take 40% out of the creator. If they're cool with that, we're gonna roll it global. Like they'll do
everybody
stuff like
else.
that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, it's interesting with all that stuff. Like I could talk, content creation all day. It's interesting because we all do similar stuff, but we also all do different stuff. Like Kurgle is super heavy on the streams, but killing it on Facebook, doing really well on Facebook. Which congratulations.
Or subscribe to your channel.
Thank you, guys.
New subscriber.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, just shoot me a DM. I'm very open to conversation. And this goes for everybody, anybody watching. Like if you are into content creation, if you need advice or anything like that, I'm always open to help. However, I do need to step away. The newborn is screaming. We're gonna have
no worries.
New Year's, in about an hour and a half. So we're gonna spend some time with the family. It was nice talking to you guys. We're gonna do, I'm assuming, more of these. And yeah, I'm looking forward to making some cool stuff with you guys.
Nice meeting you, man.
Yeah, nice meeting you. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for joining and watching. I'm sure Brandon and Lay is gonna have a ton of other topics to cover, and I will see you all very, very soon. Till next time, boys.
Yeah, see you later.
See you, man.
Have a great night.
Yeah, so we'll probably go like a little bit longer. I know that we have like a ball drop at an hour and a half until midnight, so I can definitely chat more. There's plenty to cover, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, of course. And it's funny you mentioned about the tier 1 partner thing, because I got an email yesterday saying that you're now eligible.
Awesome, dude. Heck yeah.
Yeah. So I filled out everything, and now it says your channel's in review. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be interesting.
It took like I think 3 days for the review for me, and then when you turn on, I think it's memberships, you have to get another review for that, because you have to like fill out how you want to do your memberships, like how your tiers, like what you're charging and what your tiers are going to be called, and like each one gets like a special icon. So they have to like approve that, I assume, with like people putting like negative stuff on there for the icons and stuff like that is probably the reason. But that's awesome, man. Congrats. I'm really proud of you, dude.
Thanks, man, and likewise. So it'd be interesting to see how that all goes. I haven't got my hope high because I think there's probably it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm right there with you. Plenty to work on. Like, I'm very unhappy that I had to stream with the particular setup I had this week. This is not how I would normally have it. Unfortunately, it looks, I think, terrible. But yeah, coming at my auxiliary cord again. Coming next week, yeah, definitely things will be changing. I've ordered some equipment, so like my lighting, I've had my little light up here has pretty much gone out. It's got like 3 lights left on it. So I just ordered a key light
Oh
and
shit!
was hoping to set it up before and I have it on my lap. I was like trying to set it up like while we're talking, and it looks a little more complicated for some reason, and I think I'm missing a part on the floor. I
Oh
haven't set it
shit!
up.
Well,
But
now look, it's all the fun part of content creating and trying to do this stuff because it never goes well. And my theory is always, well, nothing worked day one at Disneyland.
yeah, I mean that's the truth. You've got to try. A lot fails. I mean, I think a lot more fails for us than does well. I
Oh, it
was
does.
looking at your channel and I found something very interesting. So
Uh-oh.
with the style that
Uh-oh.
you have, no, not negative at all. I promise. Um, with the style that you have your shorts now, like pulling them from like long form content and stuff, which I think is cool. I also saw that like your biggest shorts were like weird things that were like trends from TikTok or
Yeah.
whatever. And
Yeah.
that's cool because I mean, just basing on the numbers, it looks like you got a lot of subscribers from that, and like that's cool that you could do something different and still gather those subscribers.
It's unfortunately it's a double-edged sword with those.
It is.
I that was it was me and my mate. We just tested it out. We were talking for shorts, and we're like, oh no, well, let's just throw this on to YouTube and see what will happen.
Yeah.
And it surprised. We post our normal content, you get 200 views, and we post a filter, 3K, 15 subs. I'm like, God damn it.
Yep.
Damn it. So I probably a bad habit, but I got into doing it, and we probably did it for the past 10 months or so.
Sure.
However, with crossing the 7K mark, I've decided that I'm not going to be doing them anymore.
Sure.
Because that's not something I want to push. It served its purpose.
Yeah.
Now it's time to refine.
Yeah, that makes sense. And like for me, it's weird. Like things that I'll do on say like TikTok, I don't necessarily want on YouTube, if that makes sense. I'm
No,
much more of like trying to be sort of polished on YouTube. If that makes sense. I guess it's because originally my focus was YouTube and it just so happened that social media sort of like took off a lot more and I think that like shorts helped, but like Facebook for me it was really weird. Like most of the followers are not from shorts or reels, I guess you would call it there. Are not from like Facebook reels, they're actually from posts, which is harder to do. It's a lot harder to get followers from
Really?
posts. Yes.
Posts?
Yes, posts.
Oh, wow.
Almost all posts. Yeah, because I mean, I was very consistent. This past week has been like an off week for me, as far as like posting or getting things up, which I haven't had in a long time. I've still gotten something up every day, but yeah, I mean, like I do a variety of posts, like either like a series of posts or like a sort of my writing background, I'll do like a sort of write up on things, and like people like that. They like to see like a sort of a opinion piece on a nostalgic game, or
Mm,
an opinion piece on like a news article, and it's all
mm,
written. And like that's where most of my
mm,
followers on Facebook came from. It wasn't reels. Like there are some successful reels on there that I've
mm.
gathered followers from, but it's interesting that posts aren't pushed really on anything anymore.
No,
They just
reels,
don't
reels,
care.
reels, reels.
Yeah, they just don't care. But the posts for Facebook continue to do well for some reason, and even
That's
Facebook
interesting.
wants to push reels. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
it's interesting. And look, man, your content is immaculate, and all the platforms that you use is incredible.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
With an hour of technical difficulty, I've never
yeah,
had that before, so I can't quite say that. But I
yeah.
definitely try.
Don't take today as a comparison. But no, you know, and uh, you don't. Or you I always see your reels and shorts come up, whether over my Facebook or um open Instagram. Your reels and shorts always come up, and it's funny you actually mentioned how you don't try and mix your TikTok content with YouTube. I posted a TikTok last night and got 300 views. Posted on YouTube Shorts, 3K, 5 subscribers. I'm like, oh my god.
So I've done it a few times too. I've experimented where I've brought in stuff, and actually just recently was where I've kind of experimented with that, because like I don't really want to have that on there as like a consistent content for YouTube, because it's not what I plan
No,
to do, and it's not really um it's not
that's not why people are
super relative.
subscribed.
Yeah, it's not super relative to like my general content. It's just something fun and funny or whatever, like a sort of trend
Yeah.
hop thing, I guess. And even that, like
Mm.
I don't do the trend hop a lot. I'll often try to
Mm.
find like maybe trending audio, but I just I don't know.
Trending.
I know. Yeah, I'll go ahead.
I know I was gonna say trending audio. I think that's. I think trending audio. I think is fine. But like for example, you know those what do you call them? Like those torment banner things that you can do on TikTok.
What is it?
Like when like the torment things where you can like knock your head on like random things and it
Oh
does
yeah.
randomizer. Like I would never post that onto YouTube. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
that's so separate.
yeah, that's how I've always been. And even TikTok, to be honest with you, like I don't have that stuff on there that often either. And I
Mm,
talked to you about working on like sort of my workflow and making things easier. I want to also like pull from my long form. It was
mm.
weird when YouTube, I'm so happy that they did this. I think it's great for content creators. And hey, what's up everybody that just popped in? We got a ton of people just came in from
Woo!
everywhere. But yeah, what I like the relative video thing that they offer now,
Yes.
the option. I really like that. I really like that. I think
Mm.
that's good. However, I misused it when it first came out, and I linked it to other shorts that were relative instead of linking it to like long form.
Oh no! It's meant to go for it's meant to go to long form.
Yeah, it is, but I will tell you, it worked. It worked for shorts too, because I could see the jump. Like the analytics are there.
Oh,
You
you
can
would
see
see
the
the.
jump. Yeah, you can see. Like I would specifically go to where I put a short and put relative to this short that was from 4 months ago or whatever. Say I did like a Sonic the Hedgehog short in July, and then I did another one. I would link it to that, and then look at the analytics of that past Sonic one, and you have like 1,000 more views or whatever it is, just
Okay,
as an
yeah.
example. So,
So
but
almost
it really
like looking
isn't.
like a playlist.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not the way that I want to do it, because also I don't want to focus on shorts either. I want to focus on long form again, especially
Mm.
like shorts were there and can be fun to do, but it's a really 60 seconds is not a lot to do something that you really love, or to say a lot. It's cool for clips, like, the one-liners and the stuff like
Mm.
that, or like the hot takes. But
Mm.
I don't know what it is. And I have all respect for content creators that do just shorts. Like I get it. And a lot of them kill it and do very well with that. But for me, for the type of content that I want to do or try to do, it feels kind of cheap, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I have that weird sort of feeling. I especially felt that way early on. I don't as much now, but it kind of felt like that because YouTube also pretty much said this when I did like the summit thing. Your short subscribers are essentially a separate list of subscribers than your long form. So they usually do not transfer over. It's very
No.
rare that you have transfer over that somebody subscribe from your short. They probably aren't ever going to watch your long form content, and they especially won't watch anything that's a live stream or podcast. Like that's just
No.
the typical thing. So you don't
Which is
garner
another
like a
reason why I'm not. That's which is another reason why I'm no longer doing those filter things.
yeah. Yeah, because I mean, like, what are you really getting from that besides some numbers? You know what I mean? Like, and those numbers don't really relate to anything. It doesn't really help like your general community. And that's the problem with shorts. Now, it works for other social media, but not YouTube. I am dead set on the fact that you don't build a community of people around you with YouTube shorts.
No, and it's funny because I was saying this to a friend the other day. I was like, if besides content creation, besides doing this podcast, I'm like, YouTube Shorts are probably the last medium I would go to watch shorts. Like I'd go to TikTok, I would go to Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah.
I would go to YouTube Shorts. So it amazes me how many people watch YouTube Shorts as their first thing.
It amazes me too, and it's actually pretty crazy that most people don't know. So, a lot of people did that dang auxiliary cord. I keep hitting it. The way I've got this set up right now.
All right. So
People disregard Facebook a lot, right? Like I know a lot of people that have said Facebook just doesn't matter. Like
it's dead. You don't post on it's dead. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
that is so far from the truth. It's not even funny. I know so many people that are making significant income from Facebook alone that are even, around like the 200K mark. Or I have a buddy that he recently hit, I think, 40,000 subscribers, and because of like the memberships that he has and just the views on Reels, like he's making pretty good income from just Facebook. And there are people that do just Facebook. So I mean, it's not dead like people say.
No.
And like when I did that little conference, like they were talking about that. They're really want to push the video, and now Facebook is offering the long form video format. So, daggone, keep hitting that. What a podcast, man! It's been a day.
It's been a journey.
But no, they're you can do the 10 minutes on TikTok now, and then you can do that on YouTube as well as like a normal video, not like a live stream. You can do like a normal video drop on Facebook as well.
Because I did see, I think that last time I did a TikTok, or yesterday, I did see it was like make more suggestion, make more content longer than a minute.
Yes. Yeah, so they're pushing that 10-minute that 10-minute content. Now, how the heck I would do that, I have no idea yet. I've done one on Facebook where it was a long form video, and it was its own video. I didn't put on anything else. I didn't put it on YouTube. And it did pretty well, like 12,000 views. So it did pretty good. It's 10 minutes tops on Facebook.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Every time I move, I got to get this key light out of my hand. I keep hitting the dang cable. I've got like I said, I've got to replace this Yeti. That's the next thing coming up there. Got all this equipment today, and I didn't even get to use any of it.
Oh, it's all right. There's always next time. Don't you worry, man.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting with that long form on other socials. Like I think Instagram is going to push that next, and I think that's I think this is a good sign that they want to push long form content again.
Yes, they've almost done the flip, and like Instagram Live, I've only done it once, and I can't remember if you said you had this issue, but when you go live on Instagram, the chat box was every time I tried to write in the chat box, it was making all the words in reverse.
Yeah, that's weird. So like if I looked up Instagram now, I don't even know. So like with Restream, which is I think kind of silly, but I also don't know why you would probably do it. They should offer to be able to do the format of both the way that we, before we went live showed it looked perfect with the three of us on there, but you can't switch while you're live on Restream. So I'm curious how it looks actually on there right now. I haven't looked myself.
Well, that's the thing. As far as I know, to stream on Instagram, you have to input a new stream key into your streaming platform, click
Do.
live on Instagram, and I think you then have to click live on your streaming platform.
Oh, I may not have done that then. I did get the unique stream key, but I did not. You're right. Yeah, because I did try it the one time quickly as like a little
Yeah.
test. And you're right. You have to. That's so inconvenient.
It is so annoying, and yeah, the first time I went live, I was like, "Oh, hi everybody," and it just came out. I'm like, "Yep, I'm not using this again."
Yeah, this sucks because like it could work really well. But it's like with Restream, for instance, like you got to pick one or the other. I guess if you do Instagram and TikTok and stuff like specifically, then that makes sense. But that's not really
Yeah.
the way that most people do their podcasts. So it
No,
would be yeah.
no, and then I think that's a bit detriment to Instagram as well. That you've opened the door to go live, but in the same time, you've made it more difficult to go live than any other platform.
Yeah, it's really really silly. I don't quite understand that, but yeah, you got to hit that. So we didn't even go live on Instagram. I was curious to see more as a test of what it would do, not doing the sort of format that's specific for it. I don't know what that would even look like.
It doesn't look good. I did mine. It looks terrible.
Yeah, I imagine it would. I don't know how
Uh,
it would make it look good. That sucks.
eh,
I think on
yeah,
both Restream's part and Instagram's part, they need to offer that sort of doing both format. But
yeah. Well,
it is what it is, I guess.
that's the problem. And I haven't seen. I must admit, I have not seen any other podcaster in like my community go live on Instagram with the new effect, like that type of live instead of just going live normally.
You mean like just straight live on Instagram?
Yeah, instead of doing just a straight live. Because
Yeah,
I will
I don't
admit,
either.
yeah. So just keep that in mind for next time, and for anyone listening, is that if you try to go live on Instagram through a streaming platform, it is more difficult and frustrates you, and probably to the point where you're like, "Yeah, I'm not doing this."
Yeah, yeah. I know a guy that so he's been doing it. I think he hit over a year now. He posts 3 shorts and reels a day on every single platform. He also does a live, at least one every single day, and it's just of him doing whatever, either with his kids. But he does like it's interesting because he does all pop culture stuff. So one reel will be about video games. One is about TCG, like his big thing right now is the Disney Lorcana, and then the other one will typically be about like music. And he did
It's not a bad
gardening
idea.
at one point, and I think replaced the gardening for music. But yeah, he got a lot of followers from the gardening. He had a lot of views. I think it's some of his biggest videos are still that, but it's weird because like they're always telling you got to hit one niche, and this guy broke that.
Yeah. Yep. Everything you listen to goes niche down, niche down, niche down. And at the same time, like, I want to niche down, but at the same time, I don't want to be stuck.
Yes, that's a problem. You get yourself in a box. I've said it from the beginning. I said I do
Yeah.
not want to get myself in a box. That's why I said gaming and pop culture. But then you have the problem of you've got the followers or subscribers that are there for the one thing and
Oh,
dislike the other, and either complain about it or they just don't watch it or aren't. You know what I mean? They just don't engage. And if you've
you're
got
just a
one
gaming
follow,
channel.
yeah, well, I've gotten that. Like, so I've tried to throw up. Like, I've got a graphic made actually right now that's like a Nirvana thing because I love music too. So I'm going to put that on Game Junction. But I usually don't mix too much other stuff on there now because of that particular reason. Posts I think are different. Like posts work a little different with that, but when it comes to video, they want you to niche down. They want you to do a niche of a niche. And that's what they
Yes.
always say. But it sucks because you do get yourself in a box. Like if you are just for instance, Godzilla fan, but you also like other movies and are into even just other kaiju, you start, spreading out to some of those other things, and you've been
Nah,
doing
don't do
Godzilla
that.
toy reviews forever. People don't care.
Yep, don't do it. Don't do it.
So it's interesting with that. But what other since we've got you on here, what other sort of movie news do we have coming up outside of like Marvel or anything like exciting on that front that you're looking forward to?
Oh, probably besides taking away from the superhero genre. Obviously, next year we're gonna have the Oscars. So I have no doubt. My pick is Oppenheimer for Best Picture. And looking back on the box office this year, Barbie is the highest grossing movie for 2023 with 1 billion. It was like $1,476,000,000.
Crazy.
Coming in second was the Super Mario movie. Third was
Yep.
Oppenheimer. And for next year, probably one of the biggest movies will be the new Dune Part 2. And I think Beetlejuice 2 is also meant to come out next year, but a lot of things are being delayed. And also we got Echo, that's Mario. Halo Season 2. That's dropping in Feb, I think it is. Which I hope is going to be a lot better than the first season because that was just dreadful and shit.
It really was though, and I was excited about it. I was super excited about it. I love the franchise. I think it's great.
So do I. And what makes it worse is that we can't have the main lead being a mask the whole time. I'm like, really? Mandalorian. Not only Mandalorian, but Mandalorian season 1, 2, 3, and in other shows as well. So your point is completely invalid.
Yep. I feel it.
I do not give a shit about the actor underneath the helmet.
I mean, because he's under the helmet. He's under the dang helmet.
That's right. And I think in that first episode, you see him. He's like talks for about 5 minutes, and he's like, "Yeah, helmet off." Why?
The problem is that like we didn't have that in the games, and I'll be fair, like 1 through 3 are where I'm at. Like I like Reach as well, and like ODST. 4 was like very mildly okay. Infinite, I've been super disappointed with. So like for me, this series has kind of slowly gone downhill. I mean, I played them all. Like I played Halo Wars 1 and 2, Spartan Ops, like everything.
I always go back to Halo Wars.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Halo Wars is great. Did you play the second one?
I did, but I didn't like it as much as the first one. So I went back and just bought the remaster of Halo Wars.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. We got the Siphon in here saying, I love you guys. You guys do great. Rambling together about other stuff. Don't let others bring you down. Oh, well, thank you.
Damn right. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, I like to talk about everything. We don't usually have the opportunity to do that, but we're going to be spreading out. think I've talked to you a little bit. I guess we'll go ahead and, especially since we got a good bit of people in here. In total, yeah, quite a few. So, we'll
Oh, yeah.
be launching. We've already sort of done like the soft launch of the Junction network and had a few other test shows under it. But the plan is to have a show under every sort of pop culture niche dedicated to that, because I've got a large one big thing is I've got a large part of my subscribers and followers for retro gaming, and I don't just do retro gaming by any means. I love to play new
Mm.
games. I love it all. Um, but it's hard with like the main podcast when you're covering like news and stuff like that to have retro gaming in it. So I think like
Mm.
having its own show would be great, but also like a movie show, music show, toy, all the
Yeah.
stuff that sort of follows under that pop culture banner. I think would be great, and then it really helps spread in the name of that we do cover pop culture, but I want the Junction Network to sort of be its own entity and own thing, sort of separated from what I do. And I think it'll be
Mm.
great. I think it'd be cool to have all this podcasts and having people discuss different things. And shoot, I might
Yeah.
pop in, some of them sometimes and stuff like that. But I certainly won't be directly involved in all of them. I can't do that. I'm already struggling with time, but I
Hours
think
a
it'll
day.
be
There's
great
only
for
8
people.
hours in a day. There's only so many hours in a
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
No, and
yeah. But I
I
think
think
it'll
that's
be a good offering.
I think that's a great idea, man. And right now, it just seems like podcasts are one of the hot topics at the moment. Like multiple different platforms are becoming like podcast optimized. Like YouTube now has an entire podcast section.
Yes, which I'm glad that they do, because I was
Yeah.
waiting for that. I was hoping they would push podcasts at some point.
Mm. So they've got all that, and I think that's a great idea that you're going to separate into that sections, because then you get people who subscribe to the Game Junction network, but at the same time, people, if they're only there for the movies, they're only there for the games. Like they've got that option. They don't have to sift through all the content. They can just subscribe to what they want, but they're part of your network.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's great. And like just to mention too, like Spawnwave's done it really well too, because he recently did something very similar, and now he's got the Spawncast, which is like his flagship show that like everybody's on, all his co-hosts that he has every single week. And it's
Mm.
really cool because each of those co-hosts are like hosting their own podcast under the network. And I would
Mm.
also love to do something like that. I've had that sort of idea for a long time. Like, everybody loves something different, and it's cool to have people that are like more informative and in a certain topic, and so they can say more about a certain topic and stuff like that. And I think it's really neat. And the plan too, which I haven't said this, one of the plans is
Hot
to
scoop.
do hot scoop, I suppose,
Uh,
is to do like a pre-show and a post-show for the podcast as well. So I'm hoping to
okay,
start
yeah.
that in February. I think that'll be fun. It won't be something that'll be uploaded to like audio or anything like that, but it'll be like a
Mm.
little thing to sort of like the pre-show, prep it, and maybe talk about some smaller stuff and get into all the big stuff with the normal podcast. And then a post-show can be like I had the idea of like sort of like a late night sort of thing, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
off the cuff, just whatever,
Yeah.
whatever goes sort of podcast.
Game Junction After Dark.
After dark, after dark, something
Yeah.
like that is
Yeah.
what I was thinking. I think it would be cool because people are always asking, like they love, especially I had a little break from podcasts and it really affected me. It really affected the channel just taking a few week break. We had a 2 week break and we had a 1 week break before, and there was a dip in numbers just from missing a week. So it happens, man.
They can.
It sucks.
They can be. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing in the sense unless your podcast show is seasonal, if and your schedule isn't upfront about the show, is that yes, if you do miss a week or anything like that, because then people are just going to jump to the next show that has
Yep.
popped out.
Yes.
I think.
Yep.
And that's and that's not my fear, but that's why we've for 136 weeks we have not missed a week.
That's awesome, man. I love it. Yeah, I hate that we missed a week, because there's even been, we've done a lot of specials where it's an extra sort of episode, and I always like those too, because it can kind of be whatever, like, in between sort of gaming news. We don't even have to talk about the gaming news, which would be good, like I said, for the network to have something different. But I always like doing those sort of just like off the cuff random ones, where maybe we schedule it 2 days before and like, hey, here's a bonus episode. We're just gonna talk about a
Surprise!
certain topic. Or yeah, I do like sometimes where we talk about a specific topic. Normally for the show, we've got a set of notes and a sort of guideline, but I don't like to just stick to that as well. I like to have like a free flow conversation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like
No,
having a
that's
topic list and things like that, but I like a free open conversation.
yeah, you'd like to rant on. Is that right?
I do like the rants. Yes,
Yeah.
I do like the rants.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, for sure.
Ah.
We got the siphon again saying, "I do love you guys. Are you friends?" I would say we're friends. Yeah, we've gotten to
We're
know each
friends.
other a little bit more, for sure. For sure. Are you doing more
Thanks.
videos together? I think we would like to do that. I think that would be fun.
Yeah,
For sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Time difference.
Yes, that's the big thing. So as far as like live stuff, it makes it pretty hard to do that.
Yeah.
But I am doing the Switch collab, so you're more than welcome to hop into that and be like 3 minutes in, talk about a Switch game that you really enjoy.
Well, that's the thing I was gonna say to you. I thought of it last night. I was like, yeah, I would, and I thought, wait, as much as I would tell you, I don't have a Switch.
Oh no! Okay, all right. I didn't know that.
I was like, yeah, I'll do something like that. I was like, fuck.
Well, poop. That stinks.
Yeah.
So can't really comment on that. Maybe you can come in with a an NES game or something. We got the Rushmore Show top 4 ranking podcast at Hello Game Junction. Top 4 ranking podcast. Nice. That's awesome.
That's good.
Yeah. So we had. What are your thoughts? Because I mean, obviously you're a Marvel fan. We had the big gigantic leak. What do you think about the Wolverine game and what's out there and what you can actually play? It's actually no, I won't get we won't get into like the legal stuff there, but yeah.
No. I'm very much on the same support that's not to share any of that. I think all I've shared is that fact there is a leak. That there was a leak, but that's all I've shared. I'm like, I'm not going to go down that road because that can just get really messy, and that's really wrong. Yeah. I do feel really sorry for Insomniac Games, because this, they haven't done anything wrong. Made banger after banger after banger of a game, and I think it's an absolute crime that Spider-Man 2 took 0 awards.
0 awards. I know. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. Nothing.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest upset for me. I'm like, yep, look, it didn't get Game of the Year. That's fine, but the fact it didn't get 1 is a crime. Look, it's from what I've seen of the Wolverine game leaks, from what they have seen, that look, I'm all for it. The game, as soon as it got announced, I'm like, take my money. Yes. I'm in. And if it's set in the Spider-Man universe, even better. But however, I feel like because leaks now, I would say maybe very something like Grand Theft Auto, we've probably seen another 6 months added to the production of the game because of this.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah, and it's crazy with the Wolverine one. It's a little bit different because of the way that it got leaked. And what can be done with the game. It's just unfortunate for Insomniac because they're doing so well. I feel like Insomniac is now the flagship developer for PlayStation. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but it feels like it. Like with Spider-Man, like I can't think
every
of what
Marvel
else.
Game. give them every Marvel game. As we've
Yes.
seen, like with Avengers, that was a giant pile of crap.
Yeah, it was. Well, to be fair though, I played through the whole game and I beat the game and I played the DLC, but it wasn't a good game. To me though, I will say I think it was like a mediocre game. But
Yeah.
most people would say it
Yes.
was bad. I think it was just very mediocre. There was nothing to play at the time, and I played it. So.
I was really excited for it, and I got about halfway through, and I was like, I'm really not enjoying the combat. Like this is not. And look, and totally fair. I think it could have been because I had the whole bias thing because I was thinking of Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
You're,
I love
that's
Ultimate Alliance. Yeah.
That's probably what was in the back of my head. I'm like, this isn't playing how I would expect a game of like that to be on PlayStation 4.
Well, you need to get a Switch so you can play the new Ultimate Alliance because it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And Hypercharge.
Is that a Switch exclusive?
No. Yes, DC fan right here. That's yeah.
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, I got a Nirvana tattoo, and then I've got an Umbreon over here. big Pokemon fan. Yeah. I like DC a lot. I'm just very disappointed on the dang movie fronts. I'm disappointed on the movie front. I'll say that.
Like how much time do you have, man? How much time do you have?
I want to hear about it, man. I want to hear your thoughts. I like DC a lot. I grew up actually with more DC than I did Marvel because my dad collected comics and read them. And then I eventually shifted more to Marvel myself later on. I think it's I just got attached to the characters more, but I love DC. I mean, I grew up with DC, and I'm a big fan.
I'm exactly the same, man. I grew up with Batman the Animated Series. Batman is my all-time favorite character. But you're right. I was the same. I shifted to Marvel a lot more. A lot more. Like this is a lot better. And the problem being is, DC should have got their cinematic universe right before Marvel. On paper, they should. On paper, it should have been an absolute clean win.
Yeah,
but
I mean, because start with Man of Steel, right?
Yeah, and the fact that DC actually owns all their characters.
Yeah, that's true.
The climb for Marvel should have been a whole lot harder for them.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree.
And you're right. Marvel and DC are both great in their own right. There is no big battle and what people say what's better than the other one. It's more so what their strengths and weaknesses are.
Yeah. I mean that's true.
Like DC's animated movies smash Marvel like there's no tomorrow.
Yep, I agree with that too.
Absolutely smash it. But for movies, it's let's throw hit and miss. Absolute hit and miss. And I was my episode yesterday, I was saying how we got Man of Steel, banger. Batman v Superman,
okay.
Mid. Yeah, okay.
The fight scenes were terrible, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. But Wonder Woman, great. Aquaman, great. Justice League, horrible. Snyder Cut, fantastic.
Snyder Cut, yeah, good.
Yeah, the Joss Sweden League was shit. But then Suicide Squad was all right. Was all right, but I think that first Suicide Squad, that is too much interference by studios.
Yeah, it was. It was.
You go back and you watch that first trailer to the last trailer before the movie's released, you think it completely different.
Yep, completely different. It's weird. And what do you think about? Okay, talking about that. First, 2 questions. What would you list as like the top 3 DC movies that we've had in the last 10 years? I guess with their like sort of cinematic universe that they were trying to make?
Does the Snyder Cut count, or was it just
Yeah,
because
I mean, I
me?
would say so. That's probably my favorite.
Snyder Cut would be up there for DC for me. Obviously Dark Knight, but that's older than 10 years. Yeah, Suicide Squad 2. Suicide Squad 2 was really good in trying to set up
Was
that
good.
universe. And okay, The Flash was subpar. Shazam 2 was awful, in my opinion. A movie standalone. And Blue Bill was good. I think that was okay. But there, it wasn't something I finished in the theater and going,
Still haven't seen it yet. I want to.
it's
It's
a,
weird.
it's a,
I got to do some promo stuff and talk to I guess they were one of the set designers from the film, but they were at Game On Expo, and I got a bunch
oh,
of
wow.
like swag from Blue Beetle. Like I got my picture taken with like this big Blue Beetle setup thing that they had, and it's interesting. But I still got to watch it. You said subpar.
When I got the end of Blue Beetle, I didn't have that urge to be like, oh, I really can't wait to see what he's going to be in next, or I can't wait to see him
Yeah.
with Superman and Wonder Woman. I was more like, okay, cool. You do you do you, sir.
Oh man.
But that's the problem. Is what's hurt DC the most is their inconsistency in the movies, their lack of vision, the directors. But the Batman was really good.
See, I really like the Batman, and I really like what they do. It's interesting. Do you know like the sort of
Blue
backstory of
Beetle
what they're
sucks. Yeah, yeah.
You know the sort of I was looking at these sort of things on here, but do you know like the sort of backstory with the Batman and what they like sort of designed it around, like the character, Robert Pattinson?
No. All I know is the fact that Batman movie had about 3 to 4 incarnations. Because
What do you mean?
originally that Batman movie was meant to be Ben Affleck's Batman movie,
Yes, it was. Yep.
and then it got changed again, and then the third iteration we got was the Matt Reeves version.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. It's weird because the movie's good, and obviously it's a take more on the detective side of things, like the sort of
which I really liked.
I
It
really
made
like
me think
too.
of Arkham.
Yeah, I really like that. I've always liked that sort of aspect of Batman where it's not just, like the straight action and stuff that we get from everything else. I've always liked the sort
Uh,
of sleuth and yeah, because I mean it's Detective Comics, DC Detective Comics.
yeah,
Like that is like the literal origin. But they like design the character. I sort of get it, but sort of don't. Around like Kurt Cobain. So like that was their sort of inspiration for the character.
yeah, the
And
song, yeah.
yeah, I mean beyond like just the song, like that's how they took the character. But to me, it was more like, let's make it like emo Batman. You
I
know what
know,
I
with the
mean?
art.
Like that's what it
Yeah, I
felt
know.
like. But
Oh my god,
yeah,
Alfred, it's not a phase.
it's not a phase, it's a
Yeah,
lifestyle. But no, I
it's
like that
lust.
because obviously I'm a big Nirvana fan, so I thought it was interesting. It was
Mm.
also pretty important because it was the first time that a Nirvana song was ever used in any sort of media like that. Never been in a movie. So we've never had
Really?
we've never had a straight Nirvana licensed song. It's been because of like Courtney Love holding like gosh
Oh
dang it,
yeah.
holding like the
Yeah.
rights of all of Nirvana's property and
Yeah,
real estate. And
well, I remember when she tried to fight Guitar Hero
yeah,
over the
yeah, you remember
stupidest
that?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So now that
yeah,
the estate knows that they can make massive money, and Nirvana sort of made this weird like comeback sort of thing with like the youth. Now it's like popular and they can make money from it.
Nah.
Realize that. I guess the whole thing was kind of like Dave Grohl sort of never wanted to do that. Courtney Love had more percentage and control, but it kind of goes against like sort of the music and the aspect of the band to do things like that. But I thought it was interesting because it's never been done, and that song of all songs was kind of a weird choice, but interesting at the same time.
Weird choice, but fit with the movie really well. Like it fit to me.
It did.
Fit with the movie. And it's funny actually because that Batman movie, I completely ate my words after I saw it because I was like, Robert Pattinson's gonna be a shit Batman, and then the Batman theme
I said the same
song.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I said the Batman theme song got released early, and I thought that was shit too. I was like, this is not going to be good. And then by the end of the movie, I was like, oh, I have to retract all of that in my next episode.
Yeah, I felt the same way because I mean, like, yeah, he's a Twilight guy. Like, he's done some other things, but to me, like, I couldn't get that out of my head of seeing him do anything else but sparkle, and it worked. It worked. I was shocked, but yeah, I left the movie really enjoying it and being very surprised. So, somebody said Nirvana sucks. We also got. Hey guys, and I definitely don't agree with your opinion, quoting Lionheart. So. Nirvana rolls.
Yeah, I was gonna say, which opinion? No, Nirvana doesn't suck. I just don't. Yeah, it's like it only sucks when someone wears their T-shirt and they don't know what the band is.
There's a lot of that these days, and that's the thing. It's become, when I said like it's become popular again with the youth, it's mostly been either a clip of a song has trended on TikTok, or the shirts are being sold literally in Walmart, Kmart, Target, and everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like that would have never happened 20 years ago. I remember I had to like special order on like Rockabilia or something, or Nirvana shirt when I wanted one. So it's interesting.
That's ridiculous. You had to go that length. What I said the other day, there was like a picture. It was a meme of like, was it Dave Grohl, the drummer of Foo Fighters, meets the drummer from Nirvana for the very first time.
I've seen like the memes. It's so funny. Yeah, I love it.
I'm like looking at going, the stupid thing is there are gonna people go, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I can't believe they haven't met before.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's also funny that like they kind of look different too. You know, they look the same, but he looks different when he's older, man.
Yeah,
like he's got the glasses.
Anything like he looks a little bit younger.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good for his age, but he's also rich and can afford like $300 serum to put on his face and keep that youthful look.
Yeah, and look at Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, my God, yeah.
He just changed his haircut. That's it.
That's all he did.
Yeah, no I was watching Friends yesterday. I was watching Friends yesterday, and he was on. I'm like, you look exactly the same. You look exactly the same. All right. But yeah, what movie are you looking forward to next year, or TV show? Oh, actually, no, you're looking forward to the Fallout TV show. I feel like this fits in really well.
Yeah, I am looking forward to the Fallout. However, not really digging what I've seen so far. Fallout, I feel like, I mean, look, I've got sort of high expectations because it is Fallout, but I also think it should be really easy to do because it's Fallout. So who knows? Like, it's so hard to predict. Like you said with the Batman, like I thought that was gonna be terrible. Was not looking forward to it at all. Almost didn't even go see it in the theaters, and then ended up loving it. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm all for the video game adaptations are taking over, man. Like
I think I did. I think you may have commented on that short that I did. Maybe I did.
What was it?
I said that
I comment on every one of them I see pop up. So
No, I said the fact that video game adaptions will be the next big phase in movies and TV shows. Meaning, like, once upon a time we had westerns. Westerns were
Oh
everywhere.
yes, yes, yep.
And then right now we've got the superhero movies that's taken off everywhere. I think now video games, it will be the next flooded thing.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. And I think the reason is we talked about it earlier. The reason being is that video games are the number one medium in the world. That is why. I mean, and it would be stupid of them not to cash in on that. Like, and I'm not against it. Like, I would love to see some good adaptations. We've had a lot of bad ones for a very long time, and now we're starting to get some good
Yes.
ones finally.
Yes.
But I mean, we got bad ones for a long time, man.
The curse is broken.
Dude, I mean, like, there were ones I didn't even know about that like came out. So there's like really weird ones. Like I'll actually pull up a list and just type in like weird video game movies. But there was like, for instance, like a Double Dragon movie back in the day, and I found the VHS for it at the thrift market, dude. And I was like, what the heck? When did we have a Double Dragon movie? I was like shocked. There's like so many. We have there's 2 Far Cry movies. Like,
yep.
What the heck? What the heck?
It's because the movie rights would be so cheap. That's why. Look, I think with Fallout, I have complete faith in Fallout for 2 reasons. That it will be good is because it's Amazon money backing it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. And 2, 2 episodes being directed and it's being written by Jonathan Nolan, for Nolan's brother.
Sure.
Who also worked on The Dark Knight. Yeah, so that I didn't know that either until I saw an interview with him, and I was like, okay, if you're doing it, I have faith.
Yeah, I mean that's cool stuff. I'm getting a bunch of weird ads here, but yeah, that's cool stuff. I'm looking forward to it. Amazon money, like you said, so it could definitely be successful and be good. But I will say this: there's been a lot of really crappy adaptations of stuff that I've seen on Amazon. There was one that I really enjoyed before DC tried doing like the streaming app. It was God, what was it with like the group of people, the weird. I'm pretty sure it was on Amazon. Gosh dang it, what was it called? It was good too. It had like Robot Man and
that has come to an end too. I can see the title. I can see.
I think it was an Amazon exclusive at the time before like I know their streaming service is dead, but like I think like season 1 came out on there, and then like they moved everything to like Teen Titans came out on the streaming service.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. It's gonna bug me until I see it.
And it's bugging me too. I can't think of it, but I liked the first season. I think there was a season 2. I didn't watch beyond the first. I liked it, and I can't even remember what it was called.
Doom Patrol.
Yes, Doom Patrol. There we go. I should have. It was at the tip of my tongue too. I was like, "What the heck, man?" Yeah. So I liked that one. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah,
it's different.
Yep, that's that all ended because of the service, because of that. And look, it's the same. I have the same thing with the God of War TV show, because it's not, because Amazon bought the rights. That's why I have faith.
Like, for example, if Netflix Channel 5 movie coming out, that's interesting.
Oh,
that's an obscure,
for example,
weird one to do.
If I heard that Netflix bought the rights to God of War, I'd be like, oh god, it's gonna come out terrible, and oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, look, like honestly, the Amazon stuff for me is very hit or miss, and like I'll be honest with you, I'd love to get some recommendations from you on stuff to watch on there, because I've watched so little on Amazon. It's not even funny.
Invincible.
I mean, I have Prime, so Invincible, yes. I watched Invincible. That crazy, gory, insane
You've watched the
comic series in
you've watched
general. I mean,
you've watched The Boys, right?
yes, I've watched The Boys. I've
Good.
watched season 1 and 2, so I
Right.
haven't watched anything else yet. And the current season's out now, right? There's like a new season out.
There's season 3, and then there's a spin-off called Gen V.
Gen V, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
I
is
don't dislike it. Just a time thing. I have not gotten around to watching it.
yeah, and because they're hour episodes
Yeah,
because it's so long.
yeah. And they're weekly, right? They're
but yeah,
weekly drops.
yes, when they drop, it's weekly. Yep. See, Borderlands is meant to come out this year. However, I think they finished filming that like 2 years ago.
Really? Really? Because I'm reading it. It says we saw with Paramount's Halo series, a great game franchise can still be ruined when the writers and directors have no idea what they're doing. The good news is that Borderlands brings so much to the table already. The characters are charismatic, so yeah, just sort of talking about the franchise.
And
They could do that well. I mean, Borderlands could be done well, but also could be done very poorly.
yeah, that's true. Well, I was
If
not
they base
Chris
it around
Rock.
like Tales of the Borderlands, like if they did like a movie adaptation, like sort of taking stuff from that, where that's a more story heavy, series, like that could be interesting.
True. What's his name? It's not Chris Rock. Who's the Rock's best friend? He's always in his movies with.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I think he's Claptrap.
Oh, okay, all right,
I think he's playing Claptrap. Yeah.
interesting. We got the Rushmore Show said Double Dragon is a nostalgic classic, pure garbage but fun memories. I also said video game movies is the topic we are having. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. Like, I'm gonna pull up a list of some of the weird old ones, but like some of them, I just like. So I worked at Blockbuster, and I worked there when they were
Oh, that's a
closing
relic.
down. Yeah, I know, I miss it. It was my, obviously, like I was young and you didn't get good pay, but it was like my favorite job like that ever. And I guess it's technically retail, so it was like my favorite job I ever had. Honestly, like the favorite thing I ever did because I loved movies. So I got to take home movies early before they were allowed to be rented out. So
Oh,
yeah, so I get to watch them like a week early and watch all that stuff. I was super into horror at the time. I still like horror movies, but like super into horror, like all the weird stuff too. Yeah, we got Bryce, which is this is my brother actually. He is saying, has anyone watched the Twisted Metal series?
Yep, and I highly recommend it. It's funny, it's brutal, and if you've seen Deadpool, because I think it's directed or it's written by the same person who made Deadpool 1, 2, and 3, it is same material. And if you're a fan of the games, I think you'll still enjoy it. But I fear it's season 2 is going more into the video games, what they're based on, but you will like it.
Yeah, no doubt. It's really good. I was pulling up, I guess, Firewatch. I actually have this, but I have never played it. It's like this weird indie game that I have on PS4. Have you ever played that?
No, Firewatch. No, I haven't, but I think I've seen gameplay of it.
It's almost like a walking simulator. I think if I could be wrong, but I think it's like one of those weird ones where it's like, oh yeah, Portal.
See, Paul, to me, that translation to movies, I'm like, yeah, sure, like an Inception kind of thing.
Yeah,
Inception / Blade Runner, sure.
Right. Yep. So there's that. Looks like we got Comic Zone. I forgot about that too. Holy crap! God. I forgot about that one. Now that they could do very poorly, but I loved this game back in the day. It was hard as crap. But you're the same age as me, right? You're 30.
Yeah, 31 in 2 days.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, happy early birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Wait, are you 31 and 2 days old, or you turn 31 in 2 days?
I turned 31 in 2 days.
Okay. All right. Happy early birthday.
Yeah, thanks, man.
The Comic Zone could be pretty interesting because that's like I don't know how they would do that. It's got to be animated, right? And they got to do it in the
Sure.
comic style.
Surely.
That's interesting. That's interesting. And it's very neat stuff. All right. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up the New Year's Eve special show. And appreciate having you on, man. We'll plan some other stuff. It's gonna be really hard to try to do anything live, unfortunately. I tried to get you to be, a co-host on the podcast, but it's just gonna be too hard. So maybe we can do like some special one-off stuff or something. But we'll do some videos and plan some stuff.
That sounds good, man. And I will get you on the show as well. I will work that with you as well. And more collabs for 2024.
Yeah, sounds good, man. And we appreciate everybody watching, and most of all, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and thank you for having me on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome on anytime, man. And thanks everybody for watching. 2024 is going to be great. We've both got some big plans, and super excited to share all that with you. So thanks everybody for hanging out, and be sure to go subscribe to Lights Camera Rants. I will have that linked in the description below. And is that at Lights Camera Rants?
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes.
I will put that
at Lights Camera Rant.
All right, cool. So I'll put that in the chat too. And then if you're listening audio, be sure to go subscribe over there on YouTube and follow on socials. So, all right, guys, we will see you all later. Yep, talk to you later, man. Have a good night.
See ya. Happy New Year.